Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. There are a lot of super competitive and sort of hidden gem weapons, if you will, here in Warzone 2. Weapons that maybe not everyone uses, but actually have incredible stats. Some of them borderline overpowered even. Today, I wanted to break down a handful of lesser talked about weapons, some at least, that have just insane stats, insane capabilities in the right hands. Also, just some basic weapons that players definitely know about by now that are ridiculously OP. And we're gonna start first with a more basic one that pretty much since day one of Warzone 2 I've been gassing up, because the RAAL is a beast. If we're talking sheer overpowered, just straight up using that word to define a gun, I feel like there is no better weapon to use as an example than the RAAL. This thing's damage over range, its power is 1 of 1. Over long range, the pure TTK output here is absolutely absurd. Nothing comes close to it. Now, there are drawbacks here. It's painfully slow. The reload sucks. There's an open bolt delay. But when you land your shots, no one's going to be able to match you in terms of that damage and that power. Now, setup here really not changing as of late. I'm curious to see if we do see some nerfs to this, in the coming days and weeks, because I mean, this thing is absolutely ridiculous. But first up, AMOT V4 for the side position, better ADS on the tunes there, no surprises. I do use the Step 40 rear grip. They did nerf the recoil control with this, with the season 2 update. So I'm basically just building this for all out control to make it as easy to use as possible. Step 40 is going to give you that basic recoil control benefit, and I tune to maximize that even more. Basically, I also have the Dune underbarrel on here as well. This again is meant for better recoil control. That steadiness will impact horizontal and vertical. Then I tune once more for the better stabilization and idle stability. I'm also using the Shred CP90 muzzle for basically more of the same, better vertical and horizontal recoil control, tuning for the better gun kick and recoil stabilization. And then lastly, I do use the Rhino barrel. This is basically what I use instead of high velocity, because this is actually going to give you a ton of velocity as is. Also, even better control once again, right? So you love to see that. Once more, I do tune for the better damage range and recoil steadiness here. So this thing is still going to be relatively easy to shoot even after the nerf to its control. And as mentioned, its power is unmatched. Now, next up, as much as I don't like promoting shotgun metas and toxic metas, you can't ignore what the KV Broadside is bringing to Warzone 2 right now. It is still a shotgun, so obviously it's really only going to be good within like 10 meters or so. After that, it's relatively obsolete. But for close range fights, there are a few things as dominant as this right now. Now, beware, this will get you angry death comms. This is going to get you some very angry text chat messages because, well, it's a 25 round fire shotgun that you can spam, right? So 25 round shell drum is going to give you all the ammo in the world. It's going to slow you down a lot, but when you can spray and pray like this, it doesn't really matter. Dragon's Breath rounds, so fire rounds, basically to add that burn effect. I'm tuning for the better velocity and range here. Like, the tunes here are kind of obsolete. They're not going to make this gun crazy better because you're tuning something here, but you can get some better range out of it, which is nice, I guess. Stockless stock, you can't actually tune here, but this is going to be just all for mobility benefits. Try and gain some back that we lost with that magazine, obviously. I go for the True TAC rear grip. This is going to be for better ADS and sprint to fire. You can ADS or you can hip fire with this thing, and it's still going to be lethal either way, so you might as well tune to enhance that ADS if you're going to use it. And sprint to fire, of course, is something you always want to have as good as possible on a shotgun, since you're going to be running around a lot with this thing as is. And then lastly, I go for the range 12 barrel. I think what the other one that also helps out with range is the Gunner D20. That's a good choice too, but this one has actually less cons, primarily for your movement speed. And basically, I'm tuning this one to once again help out the damage range and slightly better strafe speed as well. So yeah, for close range, this thing is going to absolutely obliterate enemies, and I feel like it's absolutely also going to get nerfed here in the near future. Now, another gun that we've talked a lot about recently is the TAQ-M. They've actually gone ahead and buffed this a handful of times with the season 2 update, including with the fire rate, which was a big drawback of it, and also the damage itself, which was already ridiculous. So now it's going to be better than ever. And while it does take sniper ammo, so that's a huge drawback, you have very limited ammo. If you land your shots with this thing, no one stands a chance again. You got to be super accurate with this. That's the thing, and that's the big skill gap with this gun and why you won't see many players use it. But if you are good with this gun, you are going to obliterate the lobby. That's just that's as simple as I can put it, right? So first up here, I'm going for the Slogger 3.4 times. I like this optic a lot for semi-auto guns because it gives you a lot of visibility over like mid to long range. You can be accurate because of that. Furthest eye position, faster ADS on the tunes there. Combat rear grip is going to be for better control. You can't spam this thing crazy fast, but when you do fire it repeatedly, there is some noticeable kicks, so all the control benefits here are going to help out with that. Obviously, you have to spam it quick with how fast this TTK is to actually keep up with other fully auto guns, right? So better stability, steadiness on that tune. 20 round mag will slow you down a bit, but it gives you more ammo, more sniper shots primarily, which is clutch, so we definitely want that on there. Edge 47 underbarrel for the better stabilization. Gonna limit the sway on this thing, which is huge again for accuracy, better idle stability and recoil stabilization on this tune here. I also got the Sack and Tread 40 on there as well, again for when I am spamming for that bit of control benefit there. Better gun kick control and stabilization on here as well. If you wanted to, you could always drop one of these control focused attachments and throw on high velocity. That's never a bad idea, of course, for mid to long range. Just depends on how you want the gun to feel and how comfortable you are with it. But regardless, the TAQ-M, very, very spicy. Quick reminder, by the way, as well as we are going through all these setups today, if you guys are new to the channel, this is your one-stop shop for all things going on in COD, news, updates, loadouts, tips, you name it, it's all right here. So feel free to hit that subscribe button. And if you guys enjoy the video or if you're finding it helpful, let me know by dropping a like on it as well. Let's try and aim for 2,000 likes on this one. Really do appreciate all the love and all the support on the channel as always. Now, another absolute beast, especially after the updates, is the Lachmann 7.62 battle rifle. Now, first up here, I go for the Cronin Mini Pro. This is going to be your basic blue dot, and you have to use this thing in full auto. That's sort of the asterisk here. It's all right semi-auto, like it is a perfectly dominant weapon and a perfectly fine weapon there. But when you flip it into full auto, the recoil goes up, but the TTK and the damage output also go up. They are crazy, crazy good stats here when you do that full auto mode. So there is a learning curve there. You have to get used to how this weapon behaves when you switch it into that full auto mode. But once you learn that, this thing is a very, very reliable weapon and very fun to use as well. Furthest eye position, faster ADS on the Cronin Mini Pro tune. Because we're in fully auto mode, I gotta go for the 30 round mag. I mean, 15, 10, 50 is a little bit too slow, but those smaller ones are not going to cut it, obviously. So 30 is a nice middle ground there for sure. You still are going to have to reload a lot because the fire rate's pretty good when you are in full auto, but it's definitely worthwhile there. I also go for high velocity in this case for the mid to long range to help make it feel a little bit more consistent with that better velocity in general, tuning to enhance that and the damage range even more. And then last two attachments, I'm just focused on control. Like I said, when you go into fully automatic, the control is a lot worse. You have to really focus on that recoil. So lock grip precision is going to give us that huge increase to just general recoil control. The tunes kind of suck here, so I go for the better hip walking speed and ADS, but those aren't really huge deals. Mainly I'm just focused on the raw recoil that this attachment is adding. And then of course, Sack and Tread 40 yet again, fantastic muzzle for vertical and a little bit of horizontal control added on there. Better gun kick control and stabilization on this tune. One of the most slept on weapons in the game right now, I would say, but really when it comes down to it, if you are good at this gun, you are going to dominate. And then lastly here, another gun that is super underutilized that also just got better with some of the updates here in season 2, the FTAC Recon. Now, on the contrary, they're both battle rifles, this and the Lachmann 7.62. Lachmann 7.62 to make it overpowered, you want to go into full auto mode. This I would honestly keep in single fire. The TTK is going to thrive here in the semi-auto mode, and it's a lot more spammable and in my opinion a lot more forgiving than like the Lachmann 7.62 or the TAQ-M or some of the other semi-auto guns in the game, right? Setup here is going to be relatively similar to the TAQ-Ms though. Again, Schlager 3.4 times, furthest eye position, faster ADS on that tune. 15 round mag is the max here, which is a bit unfortunate. You definitely wish you had more here for sure, but it is what it is. You'll make do with it. You just have to be mindful of where you're at in that, you know, ammo capacity. If you got 4 shots and you're approaching a fight, make sure you get that reload off, right? High velocity ammo here again for the mid to long range just to make it feel more consistent. Better velocity, better damage range on the tunes for that one. Edge 47 underbarrel. Again, I want that stabilization. I want to limit that sway since it is semi-auto. I want to be able to maintain my tracking on a target. And if you're swaying around, not going to be as easy. So better stability and better stabilization on those tunes. And lastly, I do go for the Sack and Tread 40. This is not an absolutely mandatory attachment. I tune for the better control and stabilization here just to make it easier when I am spamming it, but you definitely got some options here. If you wanted to use one of the suppressors, you know, Talon 16, the nil sound, those are some good options for sure. If you wanted to use a barrel to get better range of velocity, you could do that as well. Like there are certainly some alternatives there that could work well. You can even try and build a mid-range beast, go for like a tac laser of some kind like the Olay and drop down to a blue dot or something like that. Could also work well. So you can certainly experiment, but this setup in particular feels pretty reliable for especially the mid-range, some long range as well. And that being said, those are 5 of the most dominant and overpowered weapons in the right hands here in Warzone 2. And that's going to wrap things up for today. If you guys enjoyed the video, let me know by dropping a like on it. And if you're new here, feel free to hit that subscribe button, turn on those post notifications so you can guarantee you're always up to date with everything going on between Warzone 2, MW2, and DMZ. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in, and until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.